I know my desk is messy, but I was video chatting with somebody who just got through buying a French clock, and I was trying to help him out. And so I pulled the movement out of this clock to show him a few things. Typically, with a French clock, you can move the crutch assembly, which is right here, because it has an adjustable crutch on it. Well, this has an adjustable crutch on it, but you see these two pins? These two pins prevent you from moving this crutch assembly. So in order to adjust this crutch assembly, you have to take the movement out of the clock, and then you have to hold the burge assembly to move this crutch assembly. And so as you can see, it's ticking away now, where before it wasn't. So I'm going to put this thing back into the case, and then I'm going to show you how you can set your beat. I did this before and I had trouble setting the beat, and that's because this arm right here was all bent up. So we're going to try this again. So stand by. With the movement back in, and hopefully you can hear this with my beat amplifier. You hear the tick-tock is off. Loosen the screws. You can turn the movement. This one's hard to turn. You can turn the movement until you get an even tick-tock. And like I said, this one's hard to turn. Sorry for the feedback. Trying to do things on cameras, that's always fun also. As you can see, it's getting closer, and after you get it to the point where you're happy with it, you just tighten up those screws in the back. Give me a thumbs up, and God bless. And there you can hear it in beat. We're pretty darn close to it. I don't have a glass for this. A lot of the French clocks and some American clocks have got this hole above the 12. And the purpose behind that is to make minute adjustments to raise and lower the pendulum to get it to where it's keeping time properly. There are a couple of different types of pendulum on French clocks. There's one like this, where you loosen the screw and you could take the rod out. And this thing hasn't been taken out in a long time, so hopefully I don't mess it up taking it out. I don't want to break it. There's minute adjustments on this type of pendulum. The part that hangs onto the suspension spring, if you look at time savers, they have universal French pendulums that comes with a pendulum bob and then a long shaft and then this part right here. And it says that you will have to solder this part to the shaft. And then they come up with pendulums like, and by the way, with this type of pendulum, you have to, this thing only goes into this bob so far. You have minute adjustments. And that's why I like this type of pendulum better, because you have more adjustments with this type of pendulum. Okay. And it'll go up and down maybe half inch. All right. And then after you finish adjusting the pendulum, that's where that hole above that 12 is for. Now they all don't come with this part, but there's a part that goes from here to the back of the movement that adjusts the length of the pendulum maybe a quarter of an inch. And you should be able to see, you will be able to after I get some light on the situation. But inside there, at the very top, there's a round part that has teeth on it. And when you turn that screw, that raises and lowers the pendulum. And so my antique clock. Come on, Mark, think. These type of clocks have got something similar, but they're different. Where when you adjust it, it raises and lowers this section right here, which is what the pendulum is attached to. And that's my antique German clock. Now all of the French clocks have got that part, and I'm going to look in time savers here in a second and show you what that part looks like. But if you remember the clock that I had, it was an antique French clock that I told you I thought it belonged in a museum, and I gave it to my ex-wife for this Christmas. It had the hole, but it didn't have the part, and I believe it was made that way. I believe that the dials were all created by one company, person, section, and then the movements were created by whoever made the movement, but they didn't always add that part in the clock. And so with the French clocks, the suspension spring, the way they're made, they're very, I guess brittle is the right choice of words. This thing weighs quite a bit, maybe a pound, I don't know. Anyway, it weighs quite a bit. And as you are putting a pendulum bob, and you will notice there's no holes down here to adjust the pendulum. So as you are raising and lowering this pendulum bob, there's a very good chance of breaking that suspension spring, and I have done it on several occasions. The way they're made, they're very brittle, like I said, and so you want to be very careful with them, and that's why one of my group members' clock, I don't know whether it was made that way or whether somebody added the hole, but somebody added a hole, or it was made that way where you can adjust the pendulum. But here is your typical French suspension springs. And they are very easily to break. And $6.50 a piece. See, like this one right here is broke. And these things are put together, and then they have, I don't know, little crimps of some sort to hold the spring in. But anyway, $6.50 a piece. Brand new spring, me taking it out of the package, and it's broke. Not the French's best ideal, in my opinion, but I love French clocks. What I don't love about French clocks is the suspension spring, and then the pivots are very small, the size of a needle or a straight pen. They're very small, and so they're easily to break. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments. Oh yeah, I told you I'm going to show you what that part looks like on Time Saver, so stand by. It's called a time regulator control, and Time Savers used to sell them, but I couldn't find it. But this is what it looks like. It goes from that top part, which is this section right here, to the hole that's above the 12, and hopefully y'all can see this. And this part right here is where the double-sided key fits on. That slides in that hole above the 12. And then that part here, which is this part, fits on this block section right here. It fits in a hole, and it raises and lowers the suspension spring just a little bit. It's only like 4 or 5 turns each way, and it's maybe a quarter of an inch. So that's why you want to be very. That's why you'd want to adjust the speed of your clock with the movement out of the case so you don't break those suspension springs. Anyway, and let me see, I was just on a different web page, Clockworks. If there is a small arbor inside of a hole at 12, this is the time regulator control, and the key would have 2 ends. Thus, it would may say FS at this location, or AR. FS stands for fast and slow, and AR stands for advance and retard. Advance for fast, retard for slow. And, of course, that's what the double-ended keys look like. I hope this helps. May God bless each and every one of you.